inayos ko na yung summary of formula dito sa right side ng screen ninyo. No? As you can see, newsboy problem, ang importanteng formula lang naman would be the critical ratio, which is this one. Okay? After using Leibniz, no, makukuha natin ito, yung critical ratio na to. C minus B over S plus P minus B. Okay, yan lang importante. So pag discrete, ito lang, pagka continuous yung demand for the period, okay? Yung demand for the period is continuous, then ito yung formula. Pag discrete yung demand distribution for the period, then summation lang ang gagamitin natin instead of integration. Pero yung inequality dito, dapat should be, the summation of fx should be at least equal to the critical ratio. Okay? So again, critical ratio yung C minus B over S plus P minus B. Kapag continuous yung distribution ng X, equal to, and then you solve for your Q. Okay, from here. And then kapag discrete naman, greater than or equal to the critical ratio, and then you solve for Q. Okay, we had 2 examples already for the newsboy problem. One is discrete. Example 1 is discrete. Example 2 is continuous. Okay, kaya mayroon na tayo nito. Next, we go to the continuous review model. Under continuous review, we have back order, which we have discussed last Wednesday. And then today, I'll discuss the other case, which is the stockout case. Very similar to back order. So, ito yung mga parameters natin. Okay? So, gusto ko lang i-highlight sa back order problem, yung period, no? Kasi, if you look at this graph, okay, itong graph na to, ito yung demand mo, tapos dito yung reorder point. Okay, if you still remember, ito yung reorder point. And then, at this point, at this time, okay, pag nag-reorder ka, tuloy-tuloy yung demand eh. So, ang demand mo during this whole duration, itong line na to, which is your lead time. From this time na nag-reorder ka up to this time na makuha mo yung order quantity mo, this time is your lead time. Okay? So once you're waiting for your order to come, demand is continuous, no? Tuloy-tuloy yan. Okay? So therefore, this is the random variable for the back order and the stockout model. Okay? Itong demand mo, itong X during lead time. And therefore, ang nakakabit dito is itong demand mo during lead time has a probability distribution. Okay? Random variable siya eh. So it has a probability distribution. And therefore, pag may probability distribution yan, meron yang mean and may standard deviation yan. So, yung mu na nakikita mo dito, nakikita nyo dito sa pinapoint ko ngayon, ito yung mean ng demand during lead time. Since this is the lead time, okay, itong period na to, itong lead time, itong demand na to during lead time has an average. Okay? At ang average niyan is mu. So example, itong lead time na to is 1 day. Okay? 1 day. So may demand ka for that day. Ano yung average demand mo for that day? Okay? So yun yung mu. Okay, now I would like to differentiate mu and D. Kasi yan yung confusion palagi. Mu tsaka yung D. Tingnan yung definition. Mu is mean or average demand or expected demand during lead time. Pero ang D is expected demand din. Pareho sila ng definition, expected demand, pero during the planning horizon. Ang planning horizon is the whole thing. The whole, maraming demand during lead time na mangyayari, maraming cycles. Okay? And usually, sabi ko nga in my discussion last meeting, the planning horizon is usually 1 year, and that is why kino-compute natin yung expected annual cost kasi 1 year. Okay? So that is why we're computing the expected annual cost. Okay? So, anong difference ng mu at saka ng D? First, pareho silang average demand, pero ang mu mas maliit. Ang mu kasi average demand dito lang. Okay, average demand dito. Ito, yung mga period na to, na from reorder point up to the time na ma-supply, ma-deliver yung quantity, yung demand mo dyan, ano yung average during lead time. Pero ang small d, itong d na to, is also the average demand, pero average demand yan for the whole planning horizon, for the whole year. Okay? So now, bakit average demand? Siyempre, kapag ang demand during lead time mo is random variable, it follows a probability distribution, makikita naman natin na ito yung buong line na to, demand, follows the same probability distribution. Okay? Kung ano yung probability distribution mo during lead time, yan din yung probability distribution mo outside of the lead time. Okay, same probability distribution naman yan. And hence, the demand for the whole year is also a random variable with the same probability distribution as X. Pareho lang yung probability distribution yan. So, since may probability distribution din yung demand for the whole year, then may expected demand din siya for the whole year. Okay? And usually, the relationship is kung ang mean demand mo or average demand mo during lead time is mu. Okay, let's say your lead time, itong lead time na yan is 1 day. Then, you multiply mu by 365 or depending on how many working days in a year to get D. Related yung mu tsaka yung D. Okay? Related. Pareho silang average demand, nagkakaiba lang sa period. So all you have to do is convert the period ng mu to 1 year para makuha mo yung small d. Okay? So kunyari, 1 week. Ang lead time mo, 1 week. So ang gagawin mo, mako-compute mo yung average demand mo from your X, di ba? Dito, mako-compute mo yung average demand mo. Hindi, yung average demand mo, multiply mo by 52 weeks per year, by 52, makukuha mo na yung average demand for the whole year. Okay, so if this is clear, then the next thing that I want to emphasize is for backorder and stockout models, there are two things that you need to compute. Okay, output nyo, dalawa dapat makompute nyo, Q and R. Q is the order quantity, which is at this point, pag nag-reorder ka, ilan bang orderin mo? So at this point, darating siya. Ito yung Q. Okay? So, darating siya. Yan yung Q. Then, this is the point that we need to solve also. At what point, at what level of inventory do we make the order? So, therefore, for both back order and stock out model, we are able to answer when to order. Okay? Ito yung reorder point. When to order and how much to order. Ito yung order quantity. When to order and how much to order. Now, looking at the parameters, okay, etong dalawang naka-asterisk na to is understood to be yearly. Okay? Understood yan to be yearly. Kaya ang H mo, holding cost per unit lang. Okay? Holding cost per unit lang. Kasi if you look at the expected annual cost calculation, ito, no? Ordering, holding, and back order cost later. Ito. Tatlo yan eh. So if you look at ordering cost, A is your fixed ordering cost every time you order. Pero, mapapansin niyo sa graph, mag-order ako sa reorder point. Dito, mag-order ako. And then, pagdating dito, darating yung in-order ko. Kaso, mauubos na naman ito by demand. Madidipit na naman. Mag-order na naman ako dito. Diba? Darating siya dito. Okay? So, nag-order ako dito, may ordering cost yan. Nag-order ako dito, may ordering cost din yan. Okay? Nag-order ulit ako dito, may ordering cost yan. Nag-order ako dito, may ordering cost ulit yan. Kaya, ang ginagawa natin is yung A, the ordering cost, each time you order, you multiply by the number of times you're ordering for the whole year. Yan yung D over Q. Okay? D over Q is the number of times you have to place an order for the whole year. Therefore, by multiplying A times D over Q, you're actually getting the ordering cost for 1 year. The total ordering cost for 1 year. Okay. Now, if you look at the holding cost, the formula is just H, which is the holding cost. If you look here at the definition, is the holding cost per unit. Holding cost per unit of item that is in your warehouse. Okay? And you're multiplying this, understood, no? Average inventory. I max plus I min divided by 2. Okay? So, understood yan that itong average inventory is your average for the whole year. And hence, if you multiply the holding cost per unit by the number of units on the average that is in your warehouse for the whole year, understood that this product will give you the yearly holding cost, the annual holding cost. Okay? Kaya, ang kailangan mo lang sa holding cost is per unit. Holding cost per unit. Kasi minumultiply mo na siya sa average inventory for the whole year. Okay? Average mo for the whole year that is inside your warehouse. Meaning, at any point in time, pag pumasok ko sa warehouse, yan yung average na makikita mo. Okay? Yan yung inventory level na makikita mo na nasa warehouse mo. Okay? Now, if holding cost is given on a per period basis, then you need to convert this to a per annum basis. Kasi understood sa derivation natin ng formula that H is already annual. Okay? Kaya kapag minultiply mo siya sa number of units on the average sa buong taon, magka-cancel lang yung annual. Okay? So understood sa derivation natin ng formula that H is annual. So kapag binigay sa problem na yung H mo, let's say, holding cost per month yan, dapat ma-convert mo muna yung per month to per year bago mo gamitin tong formula dito. Bago nyo gamitin itong backorder formula dito for H. Okay? So again, uulitin ko. Yung D is annual basis yan. So kapag ang average demand is daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, kailangan i-convert mo yung average demand, yung mu, into annual para before mo gamitin dito sa formula na to. Is that clear? Okay? Need to convert this to annual. In the same manner, if the holding cost in the problem is given per unit, per day, or per unit, per week, per month, etc., then, therefore, you have to convert this first to a per year basis before substituting it here. Okay? Before substituting it here. Actually, wala namang effect. Okay? If for as long as pareho yung units ng D at saka H, kasi ang assumption sa derivation natin, pareho silang per year na. Okay? So magka-cancel lang naman yung per year eh. So wala namang problema. So kunyari, pareho silang naka-express per week. Okay? Parehong per week yung dalawang yan, no problem pa rin. Kasi ang gagawin mo lang naman, times 52 to, times 52 rin ito, magka-cancel lang yung times 50. Pero ito dapat careful kayo. Okay? Annual dapat pareho. Ang sinasabi ko lang is, pag hindi annual yan, dapat i-convert nyo para maging annual bago nyo gamitin dito sa formula na to. Okay, yun na yung pinakamabilis na instruction. Okay? Yung last na sinasabi ko sa inyo is, basta't magkapareho yung period ng holding tsaka ng average demand mo, itong D, it doesn't matter. Pareho pa rin ang lalabas na sagot. Pero, I would prefer that you convert this to annual kasi pagdating nyo sa EAC dito, sa formula na to, kapag ginamit nyo weekly to, at saka ito, let's say, daily or weekly rin, mali na yung EAC ninyo. Okay? Because EAC means expected annual cost. So, ibig sabihin, dapat lahat ng cost na i-compute nyo dito should be annual. So, take note, yung A, yung ordering cost, naging annual siya because of multiplying by the number of orders or the number of cycles, D over Q. Okay? Yung stock, yung back order, number of units back order, times the back order cost per unit, naging annual yan kasi minultiply natin by D over Q. Okay? So, annual cost yan. Okay? Itong H, kapag iniwan mong per week yan, okay? Pag iniwan mo per week yan, then, magiging weekly ito. So, you're now adding annual and weekly, which should not be. And your D, if it is per week also, this becomes a weekly cost. Okay? This becomes a weekly cost or a daily cost. Kaya dapat make sure that these two items na naka-asterisk should always be annual before you start solving. Okay? If that is clear, then pwede na tayo mag-proceed. Okay? Nag-derive tayo using Leibniz rule. And then, if I remember correctly, last meeting, nagdagay ako ng mga asterisk. Okay, sa mga important formula which you don't have to worry about kasi sinulat ko na ulit dito sa side na to. Okay? Ang first thing na kailangan nyo i-compute, remember, we ended with this, no? After getting the equation 2 using Leibniz rule, I told you that to solve a problem on backorder model, all you have to do is follow this iterative procedure. Okay, assume BR1 is 0, solve for Q1, etc. Okay, so ito na yon. Okay, so first, kailangan, kasi lahat ito, given naman sa problem, A, P, H, D, given naman yan eh. Ito lang yung unknown, kasi hindi mo alam yung R. So therefore, first step is to assume BR to be 0. We call that BR1. 0 yan. Pag 0 yan, masosolve mo na yung Q. Pag masolve mo na yung Q, plug in dito, sa step 2, plug in dito, HPD, given yan. So, mayroon ka ng critical ratio. Okay? Ito yung para sa continuous, ito para sa discrete. Okay? Integral becomes summation, and then the equal to, just like your newsboy problem, becomes greater than or equal to. Okay? So, ito ngayon yung critical ratio, mako-compute nyo na pag may Q kayo dito. Okay? And then, dito sa left side, ang purpose mo dito is to solve for R. Okay? So whether continuous or discrete, papakita natin mamaya, we should be able to solve for R from step 2. Pag may R na tayo, substitute natin yung R. Let's go now to the next iteration, iteration 2. Okay? May R na tayo, substitute natin yung R dito sa equation na to solve for BR. Of course, pag continuous yung X, integral. Pag discrete yung X, summation. Tanggal yung dx. Okay? So, for all the formula, ito pinakita ko yung integral tsaka yung summation kasi magkaiba yung sign eh. Equal to to, greater than or equal to discrete. But for the rest, basta pagka-integral, tapos discrete yung problem, gawin nyo lang summation, tanggalin yung dx. So, since you know from step 2R, alam nyo na yung R, alam nyo tong R na to, masosolve nyo na yung BR ulit. So pag may BR ka na, balik ka na ngayon sa step 1. Substitute BR, solve for Q ulit. Pag may Q ka na, substitute dito, solve for R ulit. Pag may R, solve for BR, balik ulit. So when will you stop? Okay? So it's either pabalik-balik lang kayo, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay? Mag-stop kayo pag yung last iteration nyo at saka yung previous iteration nyo magkapareho na yung value ng Q tsaka ng R. Ito yung ine-expect natin na output yung number 1 and 2. Kapag yung number 1 and 2, Q and R mo, okay, pareho na sa iteration, current iteration at saka yung previous, then stop ka na. That means you have a convergence already. Okay? And your optimal values for Q and R will be the values in your last iteration. Okay, in your last iteration. Okay? So, pagka minsan, mahaba, no? Umaabot ka na ng iteration 10, hindi pa nagko-converge fully. Then, I may specify a stopping criteria or a convergence criteria. Pwede ko sabihin, okay, pag ang difference between the Q current iteration and the Q of the previous iteration is 0.05. Okay? If there's that difference, less than or equal to 0.05, then pwede ka na mag-stop. So, titingnan mo ngayon yung convergence criteria na binigay ko sa problem. Okay? Kapag ka na-satisfy yung convergence criteria for both Q and R, then you can stop your iteration and come up with your optimal values for Q and R. Okay? So, kapag nakuha nyo na yung optimal, Q, R, then BR. Tapos balik ulit, substitute BR, Q, R, and BR. Pag nakuha nyo na yung optimal, tapos tinanong sa problem, ano yung optimal cost? Okay, ano yung optimal cost? Then, proceed to step 4. Solve for EAC using this formula. Okay, so meron ka ng optimal Q, meron ka ng optimal R, Q, R, okay? You can now solve for EAC. Pag hindi hiningi yung EAC or yung expected profit sa newsboy problem, then you don't have to solve for it. Okay? Is that clear? Clear ba tong procedure na to?
Clear po, sir.
Okay. So mamaya, we will have an example following this procedure. But before the example, let me first explain this. No? Pag mapapansin natin, kapag ka uniform, continuous uniform, mabilis eh. Kunyari, the uniform distribution is 2/5. So sa substitute mo lang yung 2/5 sa fx. Pwede mo kasi pagka uniform distribution, pwede mo kasi ilabas yung constant. Makakapag-integrate ka pa rin. Mabilis mag-integrate. Okay? Pero, mapapansin nyo rin na kapag ka exponential or normal or any other distribution, Poisson, binomial, mapapansin niyo na mahirap mag-integrate. Okay? Mahirap mag-integrate. So, therefore, mag-i-illustrate tayo mamaya using uniform distribution lang. Pagka continuous distribution, special case, no? Pagka continuous distribution, tapos sinabi sa problem that the demand here, okay, that the demand during lead time X follows, say, a normal distribution, then wag nyo nang gamitin ito. Okay? Wag nyo nang gamitin ito for step 3. Ito na yung gamitin ninyo. If X follows the normal distribution, no, continuous siya, pero it follows the normal distribution, then we have a special formula to compute for BR. And that formula is simply sigma times FR minus mu, discuss ko to, plus mu minus R. Take note, sigma, kapag normal ang distribution, given dapat yung mu tsaka yung sigma. Okay? Yung mu ng normal distribution at yung sigma ng normal distribution. Okay? So, ito yon, yung mu tsaka sigma. Yan. Yan. Yung mu tsaka sigma. Given dapat yan. Okay? So, now, alam nyo to, alam mo dapat yung R. Kasi, kino-compute mo BR eh. So, sa step 2, na-solve mo na dapat yung R dito. So, alam mo yung R, alam mo yung mu, alam mo yung sigma. Given dapat yan. Ito, na-solve mo na dapat sa step 2. So, therefore, constant na lang ito. Okay? Constant na lang yan. Ganon din ito. Alam mo yung mu from the normal distribution, alam mo yung R from step 2, constant na din lang yan. Okay? So, ang ibig sabihin lang yan, ito, isa-substitute nyo yung FR minus mu over sigma to the normal distribution. Ito yung normal distribution formula. Take note, di ba, sabi ko sa inyo, constant na lang yan. Dapat may value na yan. Okay? So, sa substitute nyo lang yan, kung ano man yung value na yan, dito. Dito. Papasok nyo siya dito. Yan. So, kung ano man yung value na yan, pasok nyo siya dyan to solve for FR minus mu over sigma. Ito yung formula na gagamitin ninyo. So, this is, pi is a constant, E is a constant, this is a constant. You can now solve for this one. Okay? Yung GR minus mu naman over sigma is the probability that Z is greater than, take note again, this is a constant. That's just a number. Yan. So, ito yan. Di ba? Kung anong number na yan, ipasok nyo lang yan dito. So, parang nagsosolve lang kayo ng normal distribution problem na right side. So, gagamitin nyo to from, kukunin nyo tong value na to from normal table. So, sa ENG.1 nyo, tinuruan kayong magbasa ng normal probability distribution, standard normal probability distribution table. So, kukunin nyo lang yung probability Z greater than that value from the normal table, or that would be 1 minus the probability that Z is less than that value. Okay? So we will have an example on this. Actually, this will become your assignment, no? Isosolve nyo to sa assignment ninyo sa notebook lang, okay, for the stock out model. Okay, kasi sa stock out model, yan din yung assumption. Okay? So, mas maintindihan nyo to pag na-encounter nyo. But ang sinasabi ko lang sa inyo is that R minus mu over sigma at this stage will already be a constant. Okay? And you will only use this formula for BR, itong formula na to, if X or the demand during lead time follows a normal distribution. At sinabi sa problem na normal yung distribution. Okay? And then, okay, that's all for back order model. This one also applies for stock out model. So sa stock out problem, hindi ko na siya masyadong i-discuss. It's the same. It's exactly the same as your back order, except that, ang difference lang is here. Okay? Siyempre, ito, instead na back order cost per unit, P becomes the stock out cost per unit. Narito na tayo, class, ha? Stock out problem na tayo. Discuss ko muna to before we solve the problem. So back order cost per unit or per unit becomes stock out cost. Okay, it becomes stock out cost per unit. That's the first difference. Okay, the rest are the same. Okay, the rest are the same. The next difference is yung I min and I max. Okay, so illustrate ko dito. Stock out model. So you have this. Gayahin ko lang yung drawing, ha. So, ganon, tapos ganyan, tapos ganon, tapos ganon. Okay? Gayahin natin. So this, let's say, is your reorder point. Yan yung R. Okay? So, therefore, sabi natin, this is the point at which you place your order, itong time na to, T1, and this is the point at which you receive your order and therefore, mare-replenish yung stock mo papunta dito. Okay, that's time 2. The difference between time 1 and time 2 is your lead time. Okay, yan yung iniintay mo. Okay, just like yung discussion ko kanina, may back order ka dito, may demand ka dito, ito yung X mo. Demand during lead time is your X. Dito nangyayari yung X mo, demand during lead time. Okay? And may nagtanong sa akin last time, sir, edi negative yan kasi dito yung zero inventory level eh. Negative yan. Yes. Pag back order, take note that your inventory level at this point is R. So yung inventory mo, during this lead time, itong period na to, okay, this period here, that period here, okay, meron kang demand na nangyayari at yung average demand mo is mu. So, if your inventory level is R, and then yung demand mo during lead time is mu, then this can either be positive or negative. Okay, this can either be positive or negative. Okay? So, sabi natin, pag back order model, positive or negative yan. Pero, pagka stock out model, yung R minus mu mo should be greater than or equal to 0. Hindi pwedeng mag-negative pag stock out model. Okay? Yan lang yung difference between back order and stock out. Kasi pag stock out, hindi mo kailangang, sa back order kasi class, kaya ine-entertain natin yung possibility na negative. Kasi itong negative quantity na to, ito yung negative eh. Pag nag-order tayo ng Q, covered siya in the next period. You can fulfill the order in the next period. Meaning, kung ano man tong negative quantity na yan, kunyari 10 units hindi mo na supply this period, sa queue mo kukunin. Doon sa order quantity, kukunin mo yung 10 units na yun at ibibigay mo doon sa customer. Kaya masaserve pa rin itong buo. Itong queue, gagamitin mo to serve the current demand and yung past demand. Okay? So masaserve pa rin, walang stock out na nangyari. Pero kasi, kapag stock out model, at nakita natin yung demand mas mataas kaysa sa inventory mo at reorder point, then etong quantity na to, hindi na yan masaserve. Hindi na yan masaserve. Stock out na yan eh. Okay? So therefore, your minimum inventory will not reach this negative value. So ito yung difference. Sa back order, ang minimum inventory mo, is R minus mu. And we allow R minus mu to be negative. Why? Kasi pagdating nung Q, pagdating nung in-order mo, mako-cover, di ba? Negative yung R minus mu. Plus Q, it will be your maximum inventory. Ibig sabihin, yung inventory mo, maximum inventory mo, mag-uumpisa dito sa negative. Okay? Para marating mo to, kinonsider natin yung negative value. Okay? Pero kapag stock out, hindi ka mag-uumpisa dito. Dito ka mag-uumpisa. Okay? So pag nag-queue ka, yung quantity mo, pag malaki yung quantity mo, hanggang dito ka. Nakuha nyo? So therefore, yung maximum inventory mo lalaki. Kasi itong negative na to, madadagdag yan dito. Okay. Yung supposedly yung stock out units mo, madadagdag yun doon. Kaya, ang mangyayari kapag stock out model, ang I-min mo, minimum inventory mo, R minus mu pa rin. Pero, since hindi pwedeng mag-negative yung R minus mu, itong quantity na to, ito yung negative, di ba? Ito rin yung stock out units mo. So, idadagdag mo kung ilan yung stock out units mo para mag-zero out siya. Yan yung minimum inventory mo. At yung maximum inventory mo for a stock out model, of course, is your minimum, which is R minus mu plus BR. That's your minimum. And then, idadagdag mo. So, yung minimum mo, mag-uumpisa dito. Then, idadagdag mo ngayon kung ano man yung Q, yung in-order mo. So, plus Q. Okay? So, ito yung difference. Sa back order model, since we allow this to happen, okay, then, our minimum inventory can be negative. Okay? That's why it's R minus mu. Sa stock out model, since we don't allow negative to happen, okay, then our minimum inventory is R minus mu. Since it cannot be negative, we add back whatever units we are not able to supply or whatever units run out of stock. Okay? So we add back the BR. And the maximum is just adding the order quantity when it arrives. So ganun din yun, plus Q. Okay? So syempre, because magkaiba yung minimum and maximum inventory ng back order and stock out model, yung I average mag-iiba. Yung I average would now be equal to R minus mu plus BR. I-add ko to, di ba? R minus mu plus BR plus Q divided by 2. So, minimum plus maximum divided by 2. And if you do that, your I average will therefore be equal to, lahat ito magiging doble, di ba? 2R, 2 mu, 2 BR. Divide by 2, magiging R minus mu plus BR lang. Okay? And then, yung Q mo, since wala namang siyang kapartner, will be Q over 2. So, ito lang yung difference between back order and stock out. So, mapapansin ninyo, class, if you understand this, then, balik ako doon sa summary ng formula. Sa back order, ang average inventory mo is Q over 2 plus R minus mu lang. Ito yung na-discuss natin last meeting. Okay? Pero sa stock out, mapapansin nyo, it is Q over 2 plus R minus mu plus BR. yung average inventory. Okay? Which is itong kinompute natin ngayon dito. R minus mu plus BR plus Q over 2. Okay? So ito yon, yung I average. Here, this one. Okay? So, if you look at back order model and stock out model, step 1, ganun din, iterative process, same as what we discussed last meeting. Step 1, parehong-pareho, 2DA plus PBR over H. 2DA plus PBR over H. Yung P nga lang, stock out cost. Yung BR is number of units na na-stock out. Definition lang nag-iba, pero the notations are the same. Okay? Look at step 2. Step 2 is another difference, no? Because of the difference in your holding cost. Okay? So step 2 for back order, dito natin ginamit yung Leibniz rule. Okay? So dahil may pagkakaiba sa holding cost, yung average inventory, yung Leibniz rule natin, once we apply it, ito yung formula for back order, HQ over PD. Pero for stock out, same lang naman, same lang ito lang yung difference, HQ over PD plus HQ. So ito lang yung difference ng stock out sa back order. Okay? So yan. Pero pareho lang. Sa step 3, same. BR, ito yung back order units, X minus R, yung back order, number of units na back order. Siyempre, yun yung the amount by which the demand exceeds the reorder quantity. Okay? Reorder point level. So, pareho lang yan. So, if you look at this, it's the same. Okay? BR is the same. And then step 4, pagka i-compute mo na ngayon yung expected annual cost, ito lang yung difference between stock out, back order, and stock out. Yan lang yung difference. Okay? But the process is the same. So even this one, if X follows the normal distribution, then do not use this step 3 anymore. Ito na yung gamitin mo as step 3. Okay? Ganon din sa stock out model. Same lang ang computation. Is that clear? So, to summarize, the difference between back order and stock out model is, number 1, yung definition of P. Okay? P is now the stock out cost per unit. Number 2, the definition of BR. The definition of BR. Instead of number of back ordered units, this becomes number of stock out units. But the formula is the same. The definition is changed, but the formula for BR, the number of stock out units, remain the same. Okay? So P and BR definition magkaiba. Next, yung formula ng critical ratio. Okay? Third difference is the critical ratio. For back order model, the critical ratio is HQ over PD lang. For stock out, the critical ratio is HQ over PD plus HQ. That's the third difference. And lastly, the fourth difference is in the average inventory formula. Okay? For back order, it's Q over 2 plus R minus mu. For stock out, it's Q over 2 plus R minus mu plus BR. Okay? So those are the four differences between the back order model or problem and the stock out problem. The procedure for solving for Q and R, okay? Here we solve for, remember, step 1 we solve for Q, step 2 we solve for R. So the procedure for solving for Q and R for both back order and stock out models are the same. It follows the same iterative formula as we have presented here. It's the same. Okay, so with that, I'm done with the continuous review, back order, and stock out, and we are ready to solve this problem. Okay, ready na tayo to solve this problem.